everything being recorded? Are we online now?
Yes. Hope if anybody minds, please let me know.
Behind time or ahead of time, Jeff?
I'm looking for standing up.
Behind.
Okay, sorry.
Let's get started then. I'll call this room to order. Consultants. Okay, so just in case you're in the wrong place, at the right time, Midlands Region Annual General Meeting 2023. My name is Jeff Nash. I'm the Secretary for the committee. So that means that for the AGM, I host or co-host the meeting along with Joss, who's the chair. So I'm not sure if we're going to go round, given the small scale, we could actually go around the room and do introductions. So I'm Jeff Nash, utility consult, secretary.
Sean Davis of Hydrotech, working the social team.
Bill Pearson, Pearson Consult, committee member.
Ryan Simmons, Ali Axis, interloper.
Welcome. City member?
Hey.
City member?
Yeah, we are by virtue of manufacturer.
Not individually.
Not individually.
Part of the patrons. Yeah. Lionel James Cundles, but also City Board trustee.
Chloe Agg, I'm the Education Officer for the West Midlands region and I work for Imperial College London.
Martin Trentham, work for Tilbury Douglas, current Vice Chair.
Josh Brownlee, Chair for CIBSE West Midlands Region Committee. And online we're joined by Chris Pokes as well. And from HQ.
So on my agenda, I've got a formal agenda and I'm not sure we've had any apologies.
I haven't received any.
No.
I don't think anybody else has received any.
Okay, so are there any matters arising? If there's any matters arising from last year, I don't think.
I don't believe so.
I think what happened last year was rather than do a set of minutes, I just used the PowerPoint as the record because there was nothing to mention other than that. So that matters arising out of the way. So we come to the chair's report.
So yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. Pleased to report a happy and active and engaging region with healthy finances, delivering a number of technical and social events over the course of the 2022-23 season. We've been engaging with local and regional educational establishments, and I'm pleased to see Chloe here this evening. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. We've got active YEN committee and events, and there's some content later on for YEN, our Young Engineers Network. We've been engaging with all of the other societies and networks, including the Society for Light and Lighting, the Society for Public Health Engineers, the Society for Digital Engineers, the Institution for Local Extract Ventilation Engineers, the Society for Facade Engineers, and the Fellows Network. We've had a number of new faces join us on the committee, and we've been supporting a number of members through their LCIBSE, ACIBSE, MCIBSE, FCIBSE, as well as EngTech, iEng and CEng applications. Sonia's here as well. Hi Sonia.
Hi.
You'll see me involved enough for half an hour. For the place.
That was good, thanks.
So we've been engaging with local and regional employers, including M&E consultants, contractors, manufacturers and employers. And we've been engaging with other professional engineering institutions and general institutions and bodies, including the architects, RIBA, Royal Institution of British Architects, surveyors, builders, and other M&E institutions and bodies such as ASHRAE, MEP, IET, and STEM and STEM ambassadors. And then in this season, we've started doing a vlog and a podcast, which seems to be relatively well received. And if anybody's interested in getting involved in anything that I've just mentioned, please just drop us a line and get in touch. My contact details are at the bottom of that slide.
Okay. So it falls to me, the secretary, my report. So my role is to manage the meeting, general day-to-day involvement in the running of the region. So I you can read that out as you wish, but communication is an issue I've always found. There's so many channels of communication now. You sort of looking around and you miss something. Oh, did you see the so and so? No, I didn't. So I always find it handy to have something to sort of corral and summarise what you've got. So I thought a newsletter would be good. Suggest that to Joss. I think a quarterly newsletter would be good. One did go out today. I'm sure you saw it, but apart from the spelling mistake in the first word, I thought it was great. So hopefully that will sort of cover. If you've missed anything, it'll say what's coming up, what's been going on. So I think that's just a way to sort of. I remember Andy. It was years ago now. Andy Singleton, bless him, used to sort of bosh one of those up. I'm sure it was monthly, but that was before we had Facebook and WhatsApp and all those other wonderful things. So I think it's still got a place. So that's that.
Content welcomed as well.
Yeah.
Or shout about people's achievements and innovation within the region.
Yeah, I mean, I have got a hard copy of it with me. If anybody didn't see it, but it was 4 certificates of commendation given out recently. Everybody's here. No, we're all here. Martin's here. You're here. Sonia's here. Arnold's here. So we're all here. And then we've gone on to discuss the upcoming CPD events, the SLL lighting event, our light. So that's where we are with that. So if there's anybody who wants to discuss anything, my email's there, but or Joss or anybody, just get this community and we'll talk about it. So as is norm for the annual general meeting, somebody has bring the tone down and just talk about statistics, which keep it real. So you can see from the statistics, there has been a slight increase overall in the region. So things have gone up, I think it was 20 or something. I won't trust those figures too much because the 21042 doesn't work. You see it on my spreadsheet there. It's there about, it's about 21,000 overall, and we're about 1,000. And over the last 2 years, it has gone up. So that's encouraging. As ever, I recall from donkey's years ago that it was always the members, the chartered engineers, and then the rest. And we still seem to be in that situation somehow, even though I think there's still a way to go in terms of what we SARTOR and all the rest of it. That we're going to have. Instead of being a pyramid that way, we're going to be a pyramid this way to reflect the numbers more than anything in terms of the amount of people in the region. So I think we've still got a way to go. And say that you can become a member without being the C engineer, so you don't have to go through. So that's probably bumped those numbers up a bit, but there you go. So there we are. We were 6th or 7th biggest after Hong Kong.
Home counties northwest. Home counties northeast, home counties southeast. So those are all the London regions, or 3 of the 4 London regions.
Scotland.
Country.
Yeah, so we do. I think we're doing fairly well. It's always good, I think, when you've talked about other regions, how they're doing other initiatives. So it's always worth looking what they're up to, see whether we can borrow or take their ideas. Yeah. So that's me, really. That's my report.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Suki's not with us this evening, and I don't think he's online either. So I understand that the finances are good, and that there's been a bit of expenditure over the past year or so, mainly on venue hire and conferencing facilities for CPD events and networking events. And there is a budget to do future events as well. So if anybody's interested in doing that, then please do get in touch. I'll hand you over to Phil, as our papers committee.
We've had a busy period so far. Our year tends to run September to September, but a number of events. You can see on the screen there the attendances. We're finding some of the technical subjects are getting better attended than the vocational ones. I think there could be a number of reasons for that. And going forward, we've got a number of presentations already lined up, but we're trying to get to 2 a month as an average. So if you have any ideas for presentations, give me or Joss a shout, and we'll slot them in. See, we've got a few various slots available.
Lovely. Thank you, Phil. To Chloe for education and careers.
So we are engaging with local HEIs and colleges in a few different ways. The aim is to do a membership talk at each of Solihull, Southern City, Dudley and Coventry University each year. So all of the students are encouraged to become student members, which is of course free and gives them lots of access to lots of information. We are also providing guest lectures to some of those places when we can get the staff to tell us what they want. There's lots of key members who are happy to give talks. Lots of people in the room have already gone and done that, so thank you very much to those who have. We're also involved on a sort of slightly more one-to-one basis where we are attending showcases, which we've done with Solihull previously as an example, but mentoring individual students. Once you've established that initial going for a guest lecture or going and giving a membership talk, some of the students always want some advice. And of course, recently we've got the Education Award as well, so the Student of the Year, essentially, which students can self-nominate for or can be nominated by their peers, employers or teachers to recognise their contribution to the sector. So that's not something that's for the person with the best grades necessarily, but it's about someone who's been mentoring others or championing EDI or improving processes, whatever else it might be, but some way contributing to the sector above and beyond their academic grades. So where are we with that? I mentioned that aspiration of giving those membership talks, and we either have done that within the last year or have a date to do that within the next few months with every one of those institutions. We've got guest lectures happening with Coventry at the moment. The others, it's harder to get some guest topics out of them, but those are ongoing conversations that we're working on. So for Southern City, for example, we've only fairly recently got involved with having a contact there, which we didn't previously. Solihull's had a bit of a change of hands, so we're establishing new contacts there. I know. Coventry is my local one, so that's an easier win for me, which is part of why we've got those guest lecture slots, I think, a bit more, obviously. And Dudley, again, a relatively new contact for us.
Excellent. Thank you, Chloe. Jack, our Yen chair, is not able to join us this evening, but he's given us details of the committee structure for the Yen committee. So there's some old faces there and knowledgeable faces there, and some new faces and new ideas joining that committee. So pleased to see them, and thank you goes to Jack and all of the Yen committee for their help and support over the past year, and looking forward to working with them over the next year as well. And I'll hand you over to Sonia for the SLL report.
Yeah, so as always, plenty going on when it comes to the SLL. So if anybody has ticked that box and they are SLL members as well as CIBSE members, then of course you have access to all of the guidances and things, but you should also, when you get your CIBSE journal every quarterly, every quarterly you get a Lightlines newsletter as well. So if you're an SLL member, then you'll get that additional Lightlines newsletter. So obviously to let you know what's going on with the SLL. The SLR Young Lighter of the Year award was awarded to Scott Kluger for 2022. So that was awarded to him in November, and his topic was Daylight Harvester, so a tool to enhance lighting operation performance. So he actually presented that. It was in November, so he was awarded that then. It is now open, so if you do know of any young lighters, then applications are open for this year. They close, I think, on the 27th or the 28th of April, so the end of this month. So if anybody does know of any young lighters, so they're fairly early, young in their career, in their lighting career, and they have a topic that they are interested in, or maybe they're working on a project, then of course, if you can let them know of the Young Lighter, it's a prestigious award. You do get there is an incentive, if that makes sense, to do that. So yeah, so obviously let me know if you need any contacts or anything. It is up on the website, but obviously if you need any help with that, just let me know. We do have the SLL AGM Awards and Presidential Address on Wednesday, the 24th of May, for those who are interested. It will be online and in person and as a joint event. And of course, we try to do some CPD events as well throughout the year. So that's here in person, various events across the year. So either in person or, of course, online. That's both locally and also over the different regions, so spanning across. Yeah, so plenty going on. One of the next events that's happening, this is an online event, so this is a social media event that's happening, which is SLL Our Light, which is happening between the 2nd and the 16th of May. 16th of May being the International Day of Light, so we're ending it on the International Day of Light, so it's a bit of a celebration of light and lighting. And we're asking people to, just like we have done previous years, so this is the 3rd year, we're asking people to take photographs of either something that they've made, something that they've created, something that maybe they've stumbled across, they've seen. So their creations or anything like that would be fantastic. Post them online, so post them with the hashtag SLL Our Light and at SLL100, and hopefully then we can collate all of those images and have a really good collaboration, really, just to get that lighting community. So the theme this year is all about reuse, repurpose and recycle. So it's very much a hot topic at the moment. So if you see anything or you want to maybe do something with that new role and make it interesting, about light and lighting, and have a bit of creative, so in education with the kids, whatever it may be, or professional, that would be fantastic to see people's creations.
Thank you, Sonia.
Last slide then, I think, is just about what we're doing in terms of publications. So as always, and as everybody should be aware with the knowledge portal, so you have access to the Society of Light and Lighting guidances. So every 5 years we go through the list and we have a look at what needs to be updated. So all of these get reviewed every 5 years. So we've got some there that have been recently updated. So this was last year, so 2022. So of course we've got the new SLL code for lighting. So if you're new to lighting, you want an overview of what that is, what lighting is, what we do, calculations, guidances, then that one came out in November. LG5, which is lighting for offices, came out January, so very recent guidances on how to light offices. You've got LG9, LG12 and LG22 all came out earlier in the year last year, so hopefully you would have seen those already. And then just for your information, under review, we've got LG4 and LG5, which are again quite old, but they are now under review just to see whether we do or don't need to update those. And of course, as always, we've got the lighting publications, but we also have the lighting fact files and the lighting research and technology, which again you all should have access to for additional information.
Thank you very much. Our regional almoner, Alan McWilliam, is unable to be with us this evening, but he's provided us with a bit of a report, which you can see on the screen. So I propose just to read that out on his behalf. So the Benevolent Fund, the CIBSE Benevolent Fund, is able to provide help to CIBSE members, former members and their dependents who are in need due to sickness, bereavement and or financial hardship. The presidents and former members and their dependents are eligible for help from both CIBSE, the IHVE and the IES, and all members and membership grades qualify to draw down and have access to the Benevolent Fund. It's a one-off payment and regular grants are available from the fund, and there are 16 almoners across the institution with quarterly committee meetings, and Alan is our almoner for the Midlands region, and that's both West Midlands and East Midlands areas. Some examples of the work that they do. So, for example, a member suffered with a severe illness, preventing him from working and leading to an accumulation of debts. The fund enabled him to get back to an even keel financially following successful treatment. He's now back at work. And another example was a member that was struck down with a debilitating disease, and the fund assisted in adaptations to the home and provision of equipment to enable him to work from home. So I believe there were some handrails, some access ramps that the Benevolent Fund assisted him and the family with to adapt the home there. So some contact details if you know of somebody that is in need or wants to have a chat or discuss their situation, circumstances. So there's the Ben Fund at CIBSE.org email address, or Alan, whose contact details are available there on screen. So alan.mcwilliam@wsp.com, and then some mobile phone and a landline number there, or you can write to the Benevolent Fund at 222 Balham High Road, London, SW12 9BS. I haven't received anything from Adam, but I know that he's quite busy at the moment with a recent new role. And if you're interested in being involved with regards to the Society for Digital Engineering, please do get in touch. So, Jeff.
Okay, now it comes to the big bit. The election of the officers for the regional committee. So you'll have to remind me, but there are four main offices: the chair, the vice chair, the honorary secretary, and the honorary treasurer. Those all have to be elected.
Corporate grade.
Corporate grade. So that doesn't mean member, though, does it? It can still be LCIBS, ACIBS.
Yeah, so LCIBS, MCIBS, ACIBS, FCIBS are the corporate grades.
But not affiliate,
No, student.
Okay. So these four people are currently people in post, and they've been nominated. There are no other nominations, and there are no objections. And the window for those things to occur has passed. So on that basis,
Sorry.
on that basis, I suggest that they are re-elected. Formality. Obviously, if anybody's got any other ideas, the time has passed for this year. Another year, then it's a case of to get their nominations in and their declarations and all the rest of it. So
Always welcome new members.
yeah, absolutely. So on the second part, then I think I can't remember if this is just on a very similar basis, but all the other officers, again, these are the people who are already in post, and they're willing to carry on for the next year. There's been no objections, no other nominations, so on the same basis, they are accepted for another year.
Anybody have any questions, comments?
On that basis, I'll close the meeting. Closed at 6:28.
So just following, thank you very much for that, Jeff. Just following on from that, there are a number of vacancies on the committee, which would welcome anybody's offer of assistance or ideas as to who can fill those roles. So Sophie, our Society for Public Health Engineers officer, has stood down, and so there's a vacancy there for somebody to get involved with regards to public health engineers and engineering. We would like to have a members or a membership champion within our committee within the region, and then the Institution for Local Exhaust and Ventilation Engineers, the Society for Facade Engineers, and general committee members are always welcome, as previously mentioned. So if you're interested or know of somebody that might be interested, please get in touch and we can have a chat, and I will come on to some slides with regards to roles and responsibilities shortly. I'm pleased to say that there are a number of awards that have been granted and handed out over the past year or so. So Martin very kindly presented Suki, our honorary treasurer, with his CIBSE Bronze Medal at the annual dinner last year held at the Grand Hotel. And then Neve Luck, who is one of the Yen engineers from CPW, who we thank for hosting this evening, was provided with or given a certificate of commendation for the sterling work that she's done for Yen and for the region. Martin, Vice Chair, Lionel, Past Chair, current board member, both received certificates of commendation recently for their sterling work over the years. And Sonia, SLL, and Jeff, our secretary, honorary secretary, sorry, but also received certificates of commendation. It's just a small gesture from the region, from the institution, of the thanks and recognition of their help and support for the region. So our thanks go to all of them. So the region's roles and responsibilities is to facilitate the sharing of knowledge within the regional building services sector and construction industry locally, to grow the region's membership, to be the link between industry and education, to organise social events, and to raise money for charities. And we do this by holding technical and social events, supporting members through their application process for chartership and membership at the various levels previously mentioned. We promote building services engineer as a career and much more. And if you're interested in getting involved or require any support, please don't hesitate to get in contact. The responsibilities of the chair is for the conduct and supervision of all activities within the region, and the chair is expected to preside at all meetings of the region and of the regional committee. There's a number of key responsibilities there, which I won't read out. This presentation will hopefully be online shortly afterwards, and as it's being recorded, it will also be available on YouTube. But if you're interested in getting involved or finding out more about what I do and others have done prior to me and in future as chair, then there's a link to the website just at the bottom of the slide there, and you're more than welcome to review it at your leisure. The role of the vice chair is to support the chair in those responsibilities, and again there's a link there for vice chair at the bottom of the slide there. The honorary secretary is responsible for minutes and agendas, and generally keeping us all in order at committee meetings, and some other tasks and responsibilities there as well. And again, a link to the website where you can find out more information at the bottom of the slide there. And treasurer keeps a hold of the purse strings and looks after the finances for the region, and also budgeting and forecasting and general expenditure within the region. And then regional committee members can get involved in a number of activities such as CPD seminars, technical meetings, networking events, championing in education outreach and more. And Phil will provide us with a bit more information on the CPD and other elements shortly. So in 2022, we had a really good annual dinner at the Grand Hotel. You can see some photos of the evening there. Lovely event, lovely venue. Looking forward to replicating it or improving on it again this year. The recipient charity for the monies raised at that annual dinner was the CIBSE Benevolent Fund. And as previously mentioned, the fund exists to provide help to members, former members and their dependents who are suffering hardship. And I'm pleased to be able to say that we raised just over £1,800 for the Benevolent Fund. So thank you to all for that really well-earned and valuable contribution to the fund. At the 2022 awards, we had at the 2022 dinner, we had a number of awards in the form of the Engineer of the Year Award, the Young Engineer, the Education and the Project and Initiative or Initiative of the Year Award. Pleased to be able to say that the annual dinner for this year is going to be held on the 10th of November from 7 p.m. at the Grand Hotel on Colmore Road, and that sponsorship opportunities are now available, and tables and seats will shortly be released for purchase. I'm also pleased to be able to say that we've added to the list of awards that we're looking to do for this year. We have both all 4 awards from previously, so engineer, young engineer, education and project or initiative, but also we're looking to do a product of the year award this year as well. So entries and nominations are now open, and as Chloe mentioned, I think previously, there is an element of self-nomination there as well. So you don't have to find somebody to submit a nomination on your behalf, particularly for the education award. You can nominate yourself if you feel that's appropriate. And those entries are now open online, so we look forward to receiving nominations. I'll hand you over to Phil, who would like to talk about CPD and competence.
It's very strange to see now not standing up there. Go stand up there. Okay. Obviously, I think around the room we're talking to the converted, but I'll go through it because it's obviously been recorded online. So why is CPD important? Basically, you've lost me your bullet points, haven't you?
No, that's copied and pasted straight from your slides.
Is it? Okay. Well, basically, it informs the participants of new developments. So obviously, we've got to keep up to date with what's coming along. And it's not always our own discipline we need to keep up to date with. It's very often other disciplines which impact on ours. It refreshes existing knowledge. Because again, skill fade and things like that. So over the years, your knowledge will diminish, and it's a good thing to refresh that. And provides evidence of professional development. Next slide. So professional development, recording of CPD. I could ask for a show of hands, but it might be a little unfair on some members. But basically, it's also again in life, if it's not written down, it hasn't existed. It's as simple as that. So when you're doing the CPD, you need to record it. The way to do that is on the website. We're all familiar with that page, I'm sure, from that's a screenshot. I won't say whose it is.
2022.
It was, I didn't choose this year. It actually is mine. It shows even I'm not up to date with it. So just a quick show of hands, who's put some CPD on there this last 12 months?
On the portal?
On the portal. Obviously, you need to be a CIBSE member to do that, so it's difficult. So I would stress again, my own benefits, I'm doing my CNG at the moment. Recording your CPD is essential. It's say, if you've not written down, you haven't done it. And I think there's a few issues we need to address with CIBSE head office, because when we do our CPD sessions, they don't always get certified. And when you look at the left-hand side, where it's an activity type, it's very vague what you can tick there. But I would encourage everybody to record their CPD. Well, this is a class of CPD. It is really, because you're learning about stuff, so you could spend an hour CPD for the session.
And the session afterwards.
Yes, so I mean, whole session of the AGM. So next slide. Okay, so presenting a CPD session is obviously another aspect. So apart from recording it, is doing it. And again, we have had members around this table who presented CPD sessions, and that again can contribute to a record of CPD. Because obviously doing the actual presentation requires a lot of research to make sure it's all factual, and the research time and the CPD time can all count towards CPD. Just back on. It's an interesting point that in certain countries like New Zealand, they are now insisting on a minimum number of CPD hours. It may also extend to Australia. They seem to be ahead of the game, and it's only a matter of time before that comes to the UK, where CIBSE members or CIBSE people, not just members, it applies to everybody, affiliates, it's licensed to it, will actually have to demonstrate they've done so many hours CPD per year.
Do you know how many hours it is?
And
Do you know how many hours it is?
so New Zealand, I think it's only about 20.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of institutions requiring 20 hours.
I thought it was 40, but
in the booklet.
I think it's an expectation, but it's not a.
Time. Once, and I'll come to this.
Well, of course, if you've got iEng or CEng, as part of the Engineering Council's requirement, they are very, very particular.
Hence why I go back to the next task.
as far as specifying the number of hours yet, though,
Yeah.
have they?
certainly taken into account. But at interview,
They are very flexible though about what counts as CPD. So mentoring someone else is CPD, reading the CPD sessions journals is CPD, attending sessions is CPD. So there's a wide range of things to do. It's a case of recognising that those things are learning in order for you to learn from them properly and then recording them.
That's it. Yes, it's that process, isn't it? Which is and again, it's something where I think CIBSE Head Office used to issue certificates when we used to attend the meetings on over at the chamber. We actually got a sticky foot every time we came, which was brilliant because it used to have a hard record. That seems to have gone a little bit digital. If you listen to Ella, I'll speak to you later about it.
Digital now.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still the same thing. Okay,
I'll
next.
knock you one up for a small thing.
Slide.
Got the templates, don't we?
So demonstration of competence. Who's heard of the Washington Accord? Yeah, no, remember that? Right, basically the Washington Accord is a organisation was set up a number of years ago, and it basically sets out the standards for international competence. And to be registered with the Washington Accord or recognised with it, there are certain minimum standards. And generally speaking, it's a chartered engineer, IEng and above. There's minimum qualification. But also other demonstrations of competence is obviously being a member of a professional body. Obviously, CIBSE is the obvious one. And again, you know, I would ask, I've obviously got members in the room to be on the committee, but who's a member? Who's working towards a member? So it's a question to ask yourself, you know, do we need to become a member? Can I just plod along as an associate or an affiliate? Well, at the end of the day, it will move along that, you know, certain requirements were made for certain roles. The next one along is a chartered engineer, which is say what I'm working towards at the moment. Having just completed my technical report for 9,870 words, a load of other information as well. And again, that is to be able to demonstrate the competence as this, you know, so you can't just talk the talk, say, yeah, I'm good at doing this, I'm brilliant, I'm fantastic. You need to be able to demonstrate it. And other qualifications as well. You know, there's IEng and other ones beyond the chartered engineer. But I think the chartered engineer is, I think, as a baseline for competence. As a start, certainly. Well, membership is obviously a baseline, but beyond that. Next slide. So why don't you demonstrate competence? Requires certain types of project. If you're working on a hospital project as an authorising engineer, CEng is a minimum. And how long before the hospital engineers transfer to local authorities, transfer to the private sector? I think, well, it's a good idea. Let's put that down as a minimum requirement as our project people. It's going to come. It's going to happen. Building Safety Act 2022 doesn't go quite as restrictively on our disciplines as it does on architects. The architect, it really does drill down into the requirements for competency. After time again, before the architects are long about, if I've got to go through all this competency bit, you're the engineer, why shouldn't you do it? And it's on a matter of time before the competency bit spills over into building services. So again, it's getting ahead of the game. Next slide, please. So I conclude my little rant on CPD and competence. And these are the events we've got lined up coming forward. And again, it's an outline programme, always room to fit more items in. And again, it's not written down, it hasn't happened. So let's just take away record your CPD. Even if it's, as Chloe mentioned, informal reading, research, get it down there. Thank you.
In some ways, it's more important to record that because at least with the things you've attended, it's in your calendar. You can look back over what you've done over a year, but the reading and the mentoring things, not necessarily.
So yeah, thank you for that, Phil. And as Phil said, if you've got a knowledge deficit or a hunger to find out more about a subject, we'd love to help and possibly facilitate that on your behalf. And I'm sure you won't be the only one that is looking to find out more about some information. So please get in touch. Any questions? Any comments?
Can I just ask a quick question and add a comment as well, if you don't mind? In relation to the the offices in the CIBSE committee. What are we doing to try and develop a succession plan for each of the roles? Because I know there's certain people who've been in roles for a long period of time. Are we trying to refresh and bring new people in? I know those offices have to be taken by people who are already on the committee. It's important that we try and get that in the way that we think and develop in the future, because I know board is looking at certain regions where chairs and other people have been visited for a long period of time in order to get that freshen.
It's the end of the baby boomers effect or something. Is that it?
So I know
Almost there's.
Well, also, if you haven't got a
Historically-
succession plan and someone's unwell,
They may go off for a long period of time and that role then sits empty. If it's a chair, it makes a big impact on what's happening in the committee. If it's a treasurer, also that'll make a big impact. So we recognise that's been happening in certain regions. So just to keep that at the forefront of your thinking going forward.
Yeah, so I know that there's a maximum term of 3 years for, I believe, the chair role within any of the regions. And I can only think of one instance where a chair's been in position for 3 years, to the best of my knowledge. You're absolutely right. Succession and planning for the unplanned is a concern within the region. But I'm pleased to say that there is a plan which we're executing within the West Midlands region with regards to the chair and the vice chair roles. Jeff and I have yet to talk about the secretaries, the honorary secretary's role, but I'm pleased to say that Jeff's committed to the role for the foreseeable. And each year we do review as a committee people's workloads and contributions and commitment to moving forward. I'll be open and honest and say that probably the treasurer's role is the one that worries me most. And we do appeal for succession planning and a vice or a deputy or an assistant treasurer on a regular basis. So if anybody is interested in getting involved within the region and specifically getting involved with regards to the treasurer, then I'd be really interested to speak with you. And the general committee, we have new faces join on a yearly basis, ranging in experiences and knowledge, which I'm really pleased to see, which sort of gives me a sort of warm, fuzzy feeling and pleasure. And Yen as well, assisting with that. So and yeah, if you've got any ideas or thoughts or suggestions, then really welcome them. So thank you, Lionel.
Thanks for sharing that. It was good to see that you've got quite a lot of the Yen committee as well. You've had exposure to the main committee, so that's encouraging.
We talk about treasurers. Actually, there was one point where the Yen treasurer was going to shadow Suki. But unfortunately, there's been changes in the Yen structure, and that's not been possible. But that's probably the
It's
other
a good way to plan going forward. That's good. Excellent.
Anything else? Okie dokie. Well, I'll close matters at that. We do have a case study kindly provided by CPW, who were the Project of the Year award winners at the annual dinner, coming up shortly. But for those that are in person, there is a bite to eat available and some refreshments. So what I suggest we do is we go and consume some of that for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll rejoin and continue on with a CPD webinar on the case study. So thank you to all those joining us online. I'll leave the meeting open so you can listen in maybe, and we're going to go and have a bite to eat. So thank you all very much.
the chomping.